Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the GEasy placemat. You will find a PDF downloadable pattern under free patterns on our website, gequiltdesigns.com, that will have all your cutting measurements. There are two ways to make the placemat. You can do it just with regular piecing and quilting it like these, or you can make them quilt as you go, saving the step of quilting, and get them all done just sewing through the backing and batting, which I'm going to demonstrate here. So we're going to start with our large rectangle, and we want to cut our backing and batting a little bit larger than our finished size. Every time we're doing quilt as you go, we want to have about 2 inches on all sides extra of the backing and batting. I have gone ahead and taken my backing for one placemat along with fusible batting. We sell the GEasy Quilt As You Go batting by Bozel. So it is fusible on one side, so you can just iron your backing onto it and you're ready to go. All I've done here is marked center lines on my batting just so I can center my starting piece in a place so I know it's fully centered on the batting. And so how I do that, I just fold my rectangle in half, make 2 little creases this way, and I do the same this way, make 2 little creases, and then all I have to do is match my creases up with my line that I drew, and then I know that it is centered right onto my batting. So we're going to start with a narrow border. Now if you want to, you can add a little bit of quilting to this larger piece. It is okay with this batting to not do any extra quilting, but you can do either straight lines right across here, you can do free motion, or you can kind of wait and see and just do that afterwards as well. So we're going to start with a narrow border on the top. So we're just going to lay those raw edges together and pin in place. I like to use these quilting pins when I'm doing quilt as you go because they stand up a little bit, they're a little bit thicker. Still, they are still sharp enough to go through, but they won't bend as easily when we're pinning through the layers. So I'm going to do both sides, pin both sides on. And what you want for your sewing machine is to have your walking foot on your machine. This will allow you the feed dogs to work both from the bottom and then the automatic walking foot on the top, so everything feeds through evenly. We want to use a scant 1/4 inch seam approximately. It doesn't really matter for this project, but we always want to try our best with that and sew along the 2 outer edges through all of the layers. Now one thing you want to make sure too is in your machine you want to put bobbin thread in a color that will kind of mix and hide well on your backing because the stitches are going through and going to be showing on the back. So let's get these sewn on. So now we're going to press, and we're just going to press away. Always when we're doing quilt as you go, we have to just press away. So we want to make sure you finger press it first and fold it out before you put your iron on it. Now we're going to pin the sides on. So we take our shorter, narrow border strips and align them on the 2 sides. Right sides together. We're going to pin them in place and then sew through all the layers. And again, we're just going to press away. So now it's time to add the wide border. And as you can see, sometimes we're a little off on our measurements, but don't worry, we're just going to ignore it because the next piece is going to fix it all. So we're going to take the longer rectangles for the wide border, and we're just going to pretend that this is not longer. We're going to follow the edge of this fabric and just pin it in place here and here. And then do our sewing. It can happen because we're sewing through the backing and batting, so sometimes it just takes a little more for that fabric to fold over than what we're used to when we're doing our regular piecing with just 2 layers of cotton fabric. But nobody's ever gonna know because we are gonna just sew these on and pretend they're not there. We're gonna press these borders. And then add the final 2 sides. And put in place just like before. So you can make these just using batting like I'm doing. You could also use something like Insulbright, which is has an insulated layer in it, a batting that has insulated layer. So you could use these placemats as a trivet for larger pieces like casserole dishes. So you can protect your table by putting hot plates and casseroles on it and still make it look cute. So now I'm going to sew these 2 sides on. We'll do our last press. And then we finish by just trimming our placemat up so it is even with the sides. So I just take my ruler and align it to align with the outer edges of the fabric. And I love my Stribology XL for this because I can trim 2 sides. So bringing it down, making sure it is a 90-degree corner, aligning the raw edges of the fabric, and we can make a trim. And then we do the other 2 sides. Looking straight to me. You can use all the slits and the lines to make sure that you are getting an even rectangle, even though your outer edges of the fabric might not always reflect that. Again, just remember when we're sewing through all the layers, things may get a little more skewed because of all the thickness. So here we are, we have trimmed our placemat up, and then of course, only thing left is to add a binding and you're completely done. I hope you enjoyed making the GEasy placemat with the Quilt As You Go method, and now you can make many more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.